Okay, hello there guys, welcome back to another LibGDX video tutorials. So, in the previous video we worked on collision detection so that it checks on pixel by pixel basis, and now we are supposed to improve things a little bit. So I did some improvement behind the scenes, but now I'll have to explain to you what I did instead of writing code, which will be hopefully much faster. So the first thing that I did, I checked the game against Android and on different device resolutions, and the result wasn't flattering. It was a disaster. What we did in terms of scaling was okay, but I noticed some devices does not scale, the graphics doesn't scale well, and it seems that our technique by creating the secondary buffer isn't good enough. So I went to the net and searched a little bit, and I found that there is a way you could address the problem. Basically, you could create a camera. OpenGL has something called camera, and you just tell the game how you want the camera to be. Okay, so here I'm creating a camera, and it's a orthographic camera. Okay, so this width and height, the virtual width and height, and these will be mapped to the physical display by OpenGL, by the hardware. So when you are drawing things, it will be mapped to the physical display right away. You don't have to create another buffer or something. No, everything will be mapped to the physical display by OpenGL. Okay, so this should be happening by hardware, if I understand this right, which is very fast, and also it gives very good results. So the changes you need to do is that in the part where you render things, as soon as you clear the display, okay, you have to update the camera just in case, and then you set the projection matrix. And you know, I don't claim to understand very well what is going on here, but the rough idea of what I understood is that it will just map what you are drawing based on the virtual width and height into the physical display. Okay, uh, if I'm working with the 3D, then I will have to understand this very well. Anyway, so I did this in the title and all other ones. Okay, so this is the first thing. So what that means that I don't need the virtual display anymore. So this frame buffer, I don't need it. So I'm gonna remove that along with virtual region. Okay, so I remove these two guys, and let me go here. I should get an error. Yeah, so these guys, I need to remove them as well. Wonderful. And now let's go to the part where we render things. Okay, so here I don't need this anymore, and also I don't need these statements anymore. You can see I already commented these, so you know it's already disabled, but just clear the code and make it easier to read. Okay, and when I ran the game based on those settings, the results were very encouraging. It was very smooth, no problem at all. Everything works flawlessly. So basically use a camera to solve the issue. So let us have a look on the desktop mode. By the way, I changed the resolution, I changed a few things. You will see that in a second. But all in all, let's have a look. Okay, so it's working perfectly fine. You can see the buttons are now bigger. This is one of the things. Okay, um, so it's working fine. And also now if we run in Android, okay, so it is gonna try to initialize and run something like this one. Let's use this device. While this one is doing that, let me show you a few other things. So the emulator is gonna start now. Let me rotate the device. Okay. Meanwhile, I will run again to show you a few other things that I did. Okay. So the thing I want to show is that I enlarged the button, because when I ran the game on the device, I found that using the old settings and the old size for the buttons, the size of the button is too small that it cannot detect my touch. It's a very small point. So I increased the width and height of the button. Okay, and also I found a few problems that I solved later on. So while this one's is loading, okay, now it's starting. Sorry, come on. Yes. Okay, so now this one is working. You can see now it's working well. The scaling is very, very good actually. And if you start the game, you can see it is very good actually. Okay, and by the way, when I run it on the device, it's faster than this, much smoother, but all in all, it's all great. Okay, so let me go back. Come on. This is the game. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let me shut down the device. I just want to show you that it's working. Okay, so now let's see if game finished loading itself. Wow, still don't know what is doing. I reinstalled the game, but it always takes forever. Seems that there's a problem with the fonts or something like that. Anyway, don't know why it have to load the fonts. Anyway, so let me show you the second thing. So let's open the recent files, and this is the sprite sheet here. Now, not much of a change I created in this sheet. The only things that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, and the view show grid. Okay, so now if we scale here, this tile here, this is the bullet. So instead of using this one, now I'm using this one. And also check out the size of the button, much larger. Okay, so this is the change I did here. Okay, also in the input management, I fixed a few bugs. So the bug that we had is that when we are checking the button status, where is that? When I was checking the touch, I always set the value to false, and then later on, if it is being touched, I set it to true. I don't have to do that anymore, just removed it here. I'll show you why in a second. Now, now what happens is that when we update the status, the code was checking the left mouse button only, and based on that, it will first here I created this for loop to set all the buttons status to false, and here I am checking if the mouse has been clicked. Now of course, since this is working with the mouse only, this has nothing to do with the touch on the device, but you could, while you are running the game, at the same time touch the left or right with the fire button. Okay, so this is not good at all. Okay, so this one is still active. I left it here. Okay, however, there is GDX input is touched and you pass I as index here, a double I here is an index. So if you pass 0, it means the first touch point. If you pass 1, it means the second touch point, and third and fourth, and so on. So what am I doing here is that I am looping here. I'm getting the X and Y for each touch location. Okay, so GDX input get X and get Y. I'm getting the X and Y for each location that is being touched, each finger touch. And I am passing these to the button if and only if here the button is visible and also its status is false, meaning that it is just as at not touched. However, if it is touched, there is no need to check at all. Okay, so this is the change that I did and it worked very well without any problem. In addition to that, I noticed that some parts of the code I was using the texture or width of the button, but since I changed its size, this caused a lot of problem for me. So instead of that, I defined two variables, button width and button height, and these are static and I placed them here, and these are initialized when the right away, as you can see, 16 by 6, 16 by 6, and I use them all the time. So now I just change things here and the whole program get updated without a problem at all. Okay, okay, so leave this one here, no problem. So this is the second thing. So another thing here is, let me show you the stage management. Okay, so the stage management had one big problem that I noticed later on, is that if the file of the game, if the, for example, let me show you here, for example, this is, you see here that I left an enter here, and enter, and enter. So what happens is that, where is it, stage management, is that if there is an empty line, the game will create sprite or an enemy with a speed of 0, so it will appear at the lower left corner, stay there, and you cannot progress to the next stage no matter what you do. So I just added here, so here when I am loading the stage and splitting the file into number of lines, as you can see, splitting the file based on semicolon here, sorry. Okay, so what I did is I added a simple check that if the line I am processing is an empty line, just continue. Don't start processing things. Instead, increase the counter I and go to the next line, and so on. And this is very important because solved is a very serious issue. In addition to that, at some point in the game, I want the enemies to appear at random locations, and I don't want to specify the location of the enemy. Okay, like for example here at the beginning, I'm setting these values, right? So instead of these, I want to be able to say, well, make the enemy appear at random locations. So here, if you have a look, these are all fixed numbers, no problem there. But later on, you can see at this point here, I made it a check here that if I write RND, it means generate a random number. So how did I do that? Well, basically, where's the stage management? There you go. So I created this function, and I passed the value that is supposed to be a number here. So if it is if the value is RND, then just return the next random number, and RND is actually a random object created right away. Otherwise, I assume that this is a number. If it is not RND, I assume this is a number, I'll return it. So when I'm processing things here, okay, I just say, for example, instead of float.parse the value, I just say parse float or RND, this is the function we created, and I pass the string that's supposed to be, supposed to represent, the value. I get rid of x equals or y equals, etc. Okay, this is very straightforward, and then everything stays the same. So now we can make the enemies appear at random locations instead of fixed, which is very simplifying things a lot. Now, one other thing is that I redesigned the stage. So basically, at time 1, I get one enemy only. We want the player to get used to the waves, so you don't want everyone attacking him right away. The player should learn how to play the game and make maneuvers. So when a player appears at location 0.1 of the screen, means that if you split this into 10 parts horizontally, so it will be about here, and one is the second one's at 0.9 here, so the first one will come about here, and later on another one comes here, so the player could watch them and he's not in danger of getting hit by them. Next one's a closer and a closer. Now I create a group. Okay, so it is one here and one here and one here. I'll show you. Maybe showing is way much better, and so on. Okay, so if we start the game, okay, so the first one should appear here, and at time 2 the one appear here. Now the next one's appearing at location 0.2, and this one with it, and then this a group, and now this a group. And after that, I think I created a wave, horizontal wave, no, yeah, so these guys are appearing at random points going towards the center. So now the player should move his location, and the next wave is coming here, and the next wave is coming here, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, okay, so all these guys are from the first wave only. Okay, and now we are on wave 2. Okay, so this is very straightforward. Now wave 2 will be the second wave will be a little bit more organized, if that makes sense. So I suppose this is the first one. Okay, and now I'll make them as 2 groups. So this will be time, let's make it 5 or maybe 4. Okay, however, they will appear at random starting point horizontally. So this will be R&D, 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 another R&D, another R&D, R&D. Okay, so now we finish this one, and if we run this, okay, we start the game. Okay, instead of waiting, I'll just go here and change, where is the title? Where is the title? Here, game screen now. The title screen, so, okay, so instead of stage equals 0, I'll make stage equal 1. I think that's much better. Okay, so I'll just make a comment here, the starting stage. Okay, so 0 represent the first stage, 1 represent the second stage. So now I should be able to see the second stage right away. Come on, my friend, go. So this is the second stage. We start from wave 2 here, no problem. Okay, so now each one of these guys is going towards its destination. Okay, that's fine. And we could actually now run this again. What you should see is that they will go toward different points now. Okay. You see now they appeared in a different order. Okay, so very straightforward, very nice. Okay, so this is for the second stage. Maybe I'll merge a part of these guys, right, because they appear at different timings. So I'll maybe use these two groups here, go back, enter, okay, which will be much better, you know, to make the player familiar with what is happening. Okay, start. Okay, by the way, one of the other things that I created, sorry for that. The timing here is a little bit off, so I need to increase the time between the waves. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. This is now is gonna be 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, and there's gonna be 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, so here, okay, so you have these guys, and we could, yeah, that will be okay, I suppose. So let's have a look. Okay, so I destroyed the first guy, no problem. Okay, another wave, another wave, another wave. Okay, so it is working fine, no problem. Now I wonder if we could, oh, there was another group, but whatever. Okay, so 1, 3, maybe make these 5. Okay, increase the time a little bit more. Okay, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 9, oops. Wait a second, 1, 5, oh, make this 9 already. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. This needs to be 13, 13. Okay, so I'm giving about 4 seconds between each wave and the next one. Okay, so this should be it. So we save this now and we run the game now. Okay. Let us start the game and see what is going on. So the first one. Okay. So the second wave, also great. This third wave, or third group, and the random group, as you can see. And now we move to wave number 3. So this is now wave 3. Okay, that's fine. So this is all great and fine. Now, one other thing that I changed in the game is that I kind of disabled all the work we did in the previous video. And the reason for that is that when I ran the game using Android, it was very weird, but for some reason things didn't go as expected. Okay, so here I just disabled this. I'm just checking the distance. So let me disable this here, restore the previous code and I will show you what's going on. It is very weird thing, but it seems that some behavior is different on some texture mapping or drawing behavior is different on different devices. So let me show you. So here we created a pixel by pixel collision detection, right? So now I restored that, I will show you. So here what we have now is, okay, it's not working at all. This is very weird, right? Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, it was working before, but now it is not working at all. And I'm not sure why that is, so I'll have to readdress the problem there. Okay, maybe because I added the camera and because of that I'm getting this issue. That's very possible. But for now I will just disable it, okay, because I don't want to waste too much time on that. But anyway, these are basically the main changes that I create to the code so far, and as a result the mapping to Android devices is much better. And by the way, one last thing, that I changed the audio of the bullet, make it fade in, and that's because the previous audio was a little bit harsh on the ear, so this is why I did that. Okay, I use Audacity for that, and all's fine. So it has been 26 minutes, yeah. So all these changes, although it took some time, but you know, all in all, it's okay. Now I will just add one new thing to the code. Well, that is, well, basically, if you go to the file itself here, I want the enemy to start at random point. Here, the enemy is starting at random point. However, what I want is to add another let's say, I want to start another group that appears at the location. Instead of random, it will appear at the center of the you know, the center, and move towards a random point. Okay, so this will make this go to the center, right? So these guys are going to the center, but I want the enemies to go to a random point, so I'll add RND here. Now the path itself, the path content is not processed using the same the same part of the code. I created something for managing the paths, right? So I'll have to go to that and you know, update it now. So where is that? We have game input management. Yeah, it's motion plan. So here we are parse point. There you go. Here. So there you go. Start with this one. Yeah. So we are splitting this. So at this very point here, the F1. So I will say if xy of 0 dot trim dot equals RND. At that point I will say for that float f1 equals 0, float f2 equals 0. So if it is like that, I will just say f1 equals RND. Let me see what stage management dot RND dot next float. Okay. Yeah. Else I will just do this. Now the same thing goes here. Just say if xy of 1 dot rem dot equals R&D, right? At that point, F2 equals stage management dot R&D dot next float. Okay. Yeah. So else, just do this, and yeah, that's it. So now this means that we could specify random points that the spaceship could move to. So let us run this, and we could do something very cool with that in a second. Okay, so let's start this now. Okay, so this is the first group. Now the second group. Good. Now the third group. Okay. Now the random group, right? Okay, so you want to have I gave them the same timing. Sorry about that, but but it worked actually. So let me see the file. Where's the file? It's here. The only problem is that I gave it the same timing here. So this need to be what 17 times 17. Okay. So R&D, all R&Ds, good. So let us run this. Start the game. Okay. Well, okay, one of the things that I forgot to create an explosion sound when you touch an enemy. Okay, so now these guys are going towards random points. So far so good, but now all from the center and spreading towards random points. Okay, so it is working fine. Now these are okay, but actually now we just added a feature. This is good, but they don't appear very nice. So I will change things now a little bit. Okay, so I remove these guys and go to stage 3, and I'll create a single enemy here. Okay, so where is stage 3? Okay, where is that? Okay, Control A, Control V. Okay, so we have this guy, and this is gonna be R&D. Okay, so how did I do that? What was the split? The split I created, the thing that's being split based on. Character sequence, pass points. So where is motion pad? So here, how did I split these guys? Okay, so I split. Okay, so based on the pipe, so each 2 points I need to split them based on the pipe. Okay, the pipe symbol. So now let's go to stage 3 here. So I need to just add, check this out, pipe, pipe, pipe. Okay, so now we have an enemy, and that enemy will actually follow a number of random points, if that makes sense. So let us save this, and also let's go to the game and make sure that we start from stage number 3. So run this guy. Okay, so we get one enemy, and this enemy will move randomly towards the first point. Okay, now switching to the second point. Switching to the third point. Switching to the fourth point. Switching to the fifth one. Switching. Okay, I think it went out of the screen, so now it just get disabled. Okay, that's fine. But now you see that this feature is actually very powerful. I mean, this effect is very cool, right? So yeah, and if you run the game again, you will find that this enemy is now this enemy can follow now a different group of points. As you can see here, okay, so this point is, I think it is trying to reach the point. The point is in the center, but it cannot rotate very sharply, so probably it will keep rotating like this forever. I'm not sure, right? I suppose so. Yeah, so this is one of the issues that you might get stuck with one of these conditions. Well, unless we could do something about that and increase the if we had enemies and make the angle, you know, the rotation angle a little bit, you know, stronger for our friend here. So if we go to sprite, where's the part where we rotate? Where is it? Update, this is the update part. So if use angle, use motion plan, blah blah blah. Okay, so we have, yeah, so I use here 100, so I could change this to make it 200. This is also 200. Okay, or I could make this 190. And the reason for that is that I want to have some kind of, you know, some difference here, so that I don't know how to explain it, but it will have good effect, because you know, it can rotate sharper at one angle than the other. So at some points it will make your spaceship you know, work more accurately. So check this out now. Check the rotation angle. It will be so sharp. Check this out. Okay, much smaller than before. Okay, and if you pay close attention, don't know if this appears on the video, it wiggles a little bit. So yeah, so now this one's rotating around itself. Come on, dude. You could do it. You could do it. Well, maybe can't. Okay, so maybe I should you know, increase the radius of the area. So I'll put this back to 200. But I will say, if the distance smaller than, maybe instead of 10, make it 50. Okay, I will move to the next point, and this way things will be much better, I suppose. I think we will be able to get rid of this problem. Okay, so okay, so you can see now we got rid of that problem. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so let's see. Can we escape this? Apparently we cannot. So even if we do this, it is not good enough. So let's fix this and stop. So maybe. Okay, so maybe I need to put a timer. Okay. You know what? Let me see. What's the time now? Yeah, it's already 40 minutes. So I'm sorry. I'll have to stop this now, and I will try to fix this later on. But right now we added some good features to the game, and probably the next video we will start creating a new type of enemy. Okay, and also we will fix this thing. Okay, so that will be all for today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.